Apple. Right now, my conversation of the week on technology. Michael Wolff, you may not know the name. He came out of McKinsey years ago, and he did a few things like with Sotheby's. He did a few things like with Yahoo, and he's always been able to develop that linkage of strategic technology over to the tactical execution of said strategy. We're thrilled that Michael Wolff could join us from Activate this morning. Michael, are these companies monopolies like Ida Tarbell and of Standard Oil of a years ago?
I mean, what's fascinating is they're not. Each one of them is not a monopoly, but they certainly in each case dominate their part of their industries. Where in yesterday's hearings, what was clear though, and what you have to agree with is they are going to face a lot of competition. That they have Chinese companies. In the case of Apple, Huawei, Samsung from Korea, each of them is going to face competition, but they're in a great position, and they do have a massive amount of control.
The distinction here, Michael, to me, is with Standard Oil, we broke the companies up into like companies. The critics want to break up the divisions of these companies. They want to break up the parts of these companies. Is that a successful path?
There isn't much to separate off from these companies. I mean, maybe you could separate off the core Amazon retail business from the Amazon Web Services, or in the case of Facebook, you could probably easily separate off WhatsApp, which is their messaging service that they purchased for $20 billion from the rest of the company. And Apple, I don't see what you would hive off. And so in each case, it's unlikely. There isn't some easy breakup here. This is not like the breakup of the Bell system.
If we can't break them up, we're going to have to find another way of dealing with them. That certainly seemed to be the message yesterday coming from some of the congressmen. Michael, what is the biggest threat to these businesses right now? If we can't regulate them and we can't tax them, if we can't break them up, are we going to tax them more?
I think that the biggest risk here is regulation that will hamper their ability to do some of the things that they've done that give them outsized economics. So expect that the Justice Department will try to do something about Apple's App Store and try to make sure. Right now we're having a problem where Apple is trying to take more of a share. Any transaction that happens through an app, Apple believes that it should get its 30% its tax itself. And so in each case, you have to expect that there's going to be regulation or there are going to be attempts to hold them back.
Are these companies worth as much if we get a virus? How much has structurally changed in their favor? If we get a vaccine,
Right. In each of them, it's different for each of them. In the case of Amazon, we see e-commerce sales way up, and e-commerce sales are and they're set to dominate that business. I mean, it's not as if what we do see is that other companies like Target and Walmart have been able to, and even eBay have been able to capture a share of that growth. In the case of the expectation is that Apple's earnings will decline because Apple's revenue will decline because they haven't been able to set out a new smartphone. And so each case, Facebook people are spending a great deal more time on Facebook. So each of them has in their different way a challenge from COVID or an opportunity from COVID.
Michael, very quickly here, what are they going to do with all that cash? I mean, the critics can say, look, you're sitting on mounds of cash that could go for a social good or shareholder good. What are they doing with all that cash? You didn't advise them to do that.
I think in some cases they're waiting around to see what else they can buy, and that's a smart strategy because they are going to be up against large Asian companies that will be able to pretty much pick off anything. I mean, I think we also should expect there's going to be some transforming transactions in the next years, depending on an administration. There are just too many businesses out there that seem to belong together. I mean, it's been rumored for so long that Apple would buy Netflix.
Right.
It's not hard to imagine.
We gotta leave it there. Michael Wolff, too short of a visit. We'll do this again soon. He is with Activate as well.